Hey y'all, Faith Kelly and Kaz and Moon here, and we are live from our driveway today and decided to, in the spirit of the last video we did about our 6-week tour, what was that, last week we did it?
I think so, yeah.
We decided to even dive a little further into the past and take a look at our very first tour ever, the 10-day tour, which I actually, this time I did find a poster of it up in the attic. The only thing with this one is, this was our first tour, man. It was, let's just preface it by saying this was kind of like,
It was more a tourcation.
like a tourcation, kind of like,
It was the dip in the toe of the experiment.
yeah, and it's kind of funny, looking from 6 weeks to 10-week tour. So this video should not go for 2.5 hours, but we will see, because this was, you also got to look at this was, 2022, which a lot of things were changing.
Where Debbie and Mike Zarino came out for that show.
Yeah.
I miss Debbie and Mike. I wonder how they're doing.
I do too. I really do too. I do wonder how they're doing. But yeah, dude, so this is a really weird tour, really cool tour. It's kind of like a honeymoon for us, not in that kind of way, but just when you think about what everybody went through, like globally with the whole pandemic and everything, this was kind of like, this idea of going on a tour like this seemed so far out of reach. And we got to go. So, I mean, there was a whole lot of stuff leading up to it. And, this is the story of that tour. And it's partially because, like, we made the 6-week video tour and it
Universal brought us together.
Yeah. Yeah. The universe did bring us together. Open mics brought us together. But yeah, it was one of those tours where it's like, we just decided to do it and we did it. And now we are going on our 3rd tour back to Florida. So we had to look back.
That's where you became a mild carnivore.
Well, I was no longer a vegan after this tour.
Mild carnivore.
Mild carnivore.
A mild carnivore. That's not like the carnivore. It's like, you go in lightly,
I think it was, which tour?
You dip your toe in the world of
the
meat.
first time we went to Bristol, we talked about that on the last video. Yeah. Where that's when I became a...
Mark the chicken down. Got her.
I didn't, yeah.
Got her with that chicken leg.
Yeah. But the other thing about, I don't know, after we did the 6-week tour video, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a video for this tour, because, I don't know, one day we might get old and we might want to look back on the stories.
No, it was actually that vampire bar where you had alligator.
Yes. And that was on the month-long tour to... That was the one we did, the tour we did after this. We were like, can we do a month? And that was in summer of 2022.
So then I decided you were a weirder carnivore than me because I don't like alligator.
Well,
or shark.
I didn't love the shark.
You like to eat the predator fish and reptiles.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But I'm still not into the beef. I'm not into...
You don't like the pig.
I don't like the pig, especially after...
You love the pig. That's why you don't like
That's
the
why
pig.
I can't eat the pig, man.
Because of Benjamin.
After this last tour, when we went out to Caribas...
Dude, when you meet a pig like Benjamin, you can't.
Dude, you can't eat bacon after that, man. It's like... Has anyone met an animal that, usually people eat them, like chickens or cows, and it's like, I can just never do this again. So pigs are one of them, because our friend Kariva out in Benson, Arizona, she rescues pigs. She has a really, really cool animal rescue, and with the peacocks, I think Sir George needs his own social media.
Sir George, man, we met him when he had no feathers.
Yeah, he had no feathers, and now he is strutting into her house.
He had no feathers, and he was living on like Meow Mix or something like that. And then she rescued Sir George, who was a peacock.
Yeah.
Now he's got full plumage, and he's walking around the living room, and like.
He's a, you know what? He's a sexy peacock.
He's a sexy peacock.
He really is.
He came a long way.
What's up, Jamie Lily? So yeah, that's honestly the last tour he went on. So we're gonna try to focus on this. The Faith, you can't see it now. I am going to post this video up on the YouTube later, and I will reverse everything. So this won't be backwards. This won't be backwards. But this was the Faith Kelly and Kaz and Moon Southern Tour 2022, a 10-day tour down to Florida and back. 2 acoustic folk artists from the Appalachians of Pennsylvania and the Catskills in New York. So this was kind of like before we were a couple of wanderers for sure. This was like
We didn't really know what we were doing.
we had no idea what we were doing, but we wanted to go play. We loved playing music together so much. It was
We were
just like
blessed by Eric Best.
we were blessed by Eric Best. That's really kind of where this tour started. Was Eric Best was like, "Oh, you guys should come play a show with me in St. Pete," and we're like,
Okay.
"Well, there's a there's a lot behind that." Okay, but that's
That's another.
that's a whole other
That's another
story.
saga.
It's a whole other saga. So one day Eric Best messages us and he's like, "If I Brewed the World, St. Pete, February 25th, you in. What's up, Doug Drossel?" And we said, we were sitting in the
The way
van.
you said that was so hardcore. You're like, "What's up, Doug Drossel?"
What's up, Doug?
What's up, Doug Drossel?
Oh,
From
man.
Pine Bush.
Dude, I cannot wait. Well, that will be our first stop. We'll see Doug on the first day of the tour.
I know, man.
That starts like next week.
It's the kickoff. It's crazy how time.
It doesn't
flies.
matter how many times you tour. That like the week or two leading up to it, you're kind of like, oh no, there's so much to do. There's the shirts. There's the where are we gonna stay? How we gotta fix this van. There's so much going on to it, you know. So, but
There's a lot to do.
there's a lot to do. It's you decide it's a business and you make it your business. So Eric Best invited us down to St. Pete and we said yes. And then we were like, okay, now we got to get to Florida. And I had never in my life been to Florida. I was told by people surrounding me, Florida sucks. Don't go to Florida. It's not worth your time. And
It's not worth your time.
and I was like, you know what? I want to see what is going on in this Florida, man.
What is this about?
What is this place about? So we said we got to book a tour, and I had booked tours for my previous band, a whole lot.
It's the front hoofs of America. You got to go.
Yeah. Well, it's America's dick. Let's be real. It kind of like hangs off the side a little bit, and
I always thought it was more like a hoof, like the front feet.
yeah,
And the mane is like the head of the little cow. The Midwest is like the belly, and then the LA is the butthole.
what does that make us?
We're like the throat.
head, the brain.
We're like the throat of America.
We're the throat and the brain of America. So we decided to book a tour, but this was 2022. The last tour I had booked for my old band was in 2019. So there was a whole pandemic that happened, and it's like starting from square one because everything is different post-pandemic. And it's like a lot of the venues that I knew had passed away in the pandemic. I don't know how else to say it. It's like,
they faded out. They they got erased.
I actually cried several times over the pandemic finding out that certain venues that I loved were closing. Yeah, it was a time. So this is us coming out of that time, and we were like, all right, we got to get down there. So I was checking around
There's a few left.
and seeing what I could find, and then it started to come together. I saw Michael's post.
Michael Rose.
Michael, what? No, he's the whole other year. Weisnick.
Oh yeah.
From Dead Dreams Booking. He had posted, I saw it somewhere. Like, I swear sometimes the phones, they listen to you and then they kind of help you. Oh, shoot. I'm going to just ruin that hole. I'm balancing the phone. I know I should have a phone stand by now, but
You don't.
I do. But there's like 4 of them hidden in different nooks and crannies in the van and the house. So it's what you get. So I saw his post. It just like popped up, and it's one of those things where you're like, did my phone hear me say, oh, we're going to Florida, and decide to show me Michael's post about Dead Dreams Booking Presents?
Yeah,
or did it just...
They're going, hey, remember when Michael messaged you?
Yeah. And then I said, all right, so I hit him up, and he booked us at the Calvacat, kind of like 2 days before St. Pete. And then I was like, oh shoot, all right, it's time to fill in the rest of this. We got to figure this out.
Michael was the one that got us in touch with Shanghai's too, right?
I think that was Richard.
Is that Richard?
Because they're like, I forget.
Just a really good music scene in Florida, man.
Yeah.
In general, like really just cool.
So I'm kind of stoked to go back in a few weeks. So we decided to book it out, and we decided to kick it off at Cabaret Frank's. And what a cool night that was, man. A lot of people showed up. And,
A lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time showed up too. It was nice to see Debbie and Mike.
well, because a lot of people thought that we were going to go on this tour and not come back. But guess what? We always come back. So we played this show at Cab Frank's, and going back to resurfacing after COVID, it was really cool. Like, I reached out to Jeff Blinder, you know what I mean? And it was like, yo,
Say Jeffrey.
it's kind of like after, like if we were ships in a storm and, you know, we all just went through this hurricane or something. And we're like, hey, you're still out there, man. It's like, yeah, I'm still out here, man. So he had booked us a show, and then Soul Bar was still around. And then Jason booked us a show, and we were like, all right, now this is starting to cook. Let's see what we can do.
This has turned into a real tour.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Look at that cardinal.
Where?
Right there, see? It's camouflage behind the twigs.
Oh, it's a lady cardinal.
No, that's a guy cardinal.
Oh, I'm seeing a different cardinal then.
Is it? Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So we played Cab Frank's on February 18th is when we left. And it was just a really cool show. A lot of our friends showed up. And then we left straight from Cabs and drove
14 hours.
It might even been a little
Might
more.
have been 16.
Because we had the opportunity to go see a Flaming Lips show in
The Cave.
The Cave. I think it's Manchester, Tennessee, which is a super cool venue. What's up, Ian Christopher Roberts? It's in a cave. Man, I forget. I think it's Manchester.
I think so.
But the opportunity came up to go catch that show, and even though it was severely out of the way from the whole entire tour, we said, screw it, let's go to the show. Let's go to the rock show. And then I was like, you know what? It's a Friday. I don't want to drive all the way to Tennessee and not play a show. So we looked around and emailed, and we found this Village Tavern in Sewanee, Tennessee. So we drove overnight.
What a cool little town, man, Sewanee.
Yeah. Dude, it was...
You know what's cool? Now you have a friend named Sewanee.
Sewanee.
Yeah.
So sometimes, yeah, well... If Sewanee is watching this, if she ever does, this has happened several times. My song, Honeysuckle Chill, where it goes, sunny days. I can't sing it right if I'm not singing it top volume.
Days now.
Well, when we went to Sewanee, Tennessee, you kept going, Sewanee days. And then once you met Sewanee, you started going, Sewanee days.
I can't help it.
Like when we're driving through Austin and we know we're going to see Sewanee, or every time I bring her up, he sings it. So
everything is a song.
Shout out the Embodied Global fam, Sewanee.
Everything is a song.
Everything is a song. So we drove overnight 14 hours from Cabs.
Plus.
14 plus hours. Like, you got to think, we probably left Cabs around 11.
I think it was just somewhere around there.
And we thought, oh, we're going to have all this energy from doing the tour.
Zero energy.
I think for maybe an hour. I remember I took the first shift.
We were pretty pumped for a little while.
We were pretty pumped for a little while. And then it was like, oh, crap. We are going to be on 81 for a long time. And, well, we made it to Sewanee, and we were really, really freaking tired. And
did we go to the Lip show before we went to
it
Sewanee?
Was the Flaming Lips were after we played, because remember we played the show, we were cranky and tired, and we went to the venue, and we automatically lit up because
yeah, but see, these are the things you learn.
You're gonna need to sleep.
We learned a lesson that night.
We learned a hard lesson on the second day of our first tour, that you don't want to drive 14 hours overnight to. But it ends up being worth it. It ended up being worth it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun because we get to the Village Tavern in Sewanee, Tennessee.
Man.
Oh.
Remember that?
But what was up with all the frat boys?
Well, there's a college in Sewanee. It's really, I didn't know this, but it's a pretty famous college town.
Yeah.
And so I think what we walked into that night was just, like, I don't know, fraternities and sororities from that college.
But they had kilts, sombreros,
and Timberland boots, like.
I feel like there was another piece that were
ponchos.
Missing. Ponchos. Oh my God, you're right. They had kilts, sombreros, and ponchos on, but the ponchos looked like European. Like they didn't look like. So we're like, okay.
Looked like Sears ponchos.
And these guys were on like a field hockey team, or something really like, oh, didn't he say they were rugby players?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a rugby team.
It was a rugby team of these like frat boys. And we played this show on zero sleep to
Feet
a room.
stomping,
And it was cool. It was like, whoa, we're in the South, you know.
old ladies crying.
Yeah, there was old ladies crying. Pappies cried.
Yep.
The boys were stomping their feet. It was a really interesting show, and it energized us. Our first show ever on tour together was that show, when you really think about it.
It was a really neat town.
I'd like to go back there. I've reached out a few times for previous tours, but I haven't heard back, so I hope old Jim is all right out there.
We'll see.
You know, I should reach out again. But yeah.
When Universal says so.
Yes. So then from there, we finished up this show, and because we hadn't had enough stimulation yet, we went to go see the Flaming Lips in a cave, and
I was so tired.
it was a good time. I don't remember where we slept that night.
Beer catastrophe.
Oh my God, that's right. He got and he bought a shirt, and like we sat down in our seat, and like moments later he's like, "Dang it, I dropped my beer all over." Or like you dropped the beer and then you used the shirt to wipe it up.
Yeah, I had to, man. We're in the VIP section. It was like, shit.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? It was we were like sloppy drunk without being the drunk. We were just sloppy. We were sloppy sleepy.
Sloppy sleepy, no foodie.
It was a great show though.
Yeah,
I loved that. I was my second show in that cave, and it would be a dream to play in that dang cave
Michael
someday.
was there.
I think he was there. Oh man, that's weird. That's weird how
Small world.
well, you know, the story it continues and it interweaves, and
To be continued.
to be continued. This is just honestly half the reason I make these is so that when we get old, we can look back on these videos and remember these silly stories while they're still like fresh in my mind. Do you remember where we slept that night?
Before I go full Aussie.
No.
Sharon!
Faith!
Faith! There's my taco.
Burrito. I want a burrito, dude. Whoa. See, my phone wants a burrito too. That's what it is. Anyways, so do you remember where we slept that night?
Oh man.
We like left that show somewhere early. You met John Strunk that night, and I know Parker was there.
I think we might have slept in a Love's.
I don't even know if we weren't even into the truck stop
we didn't even know
stage
about
yet.
that yet. We were still ignorant to that fact. We had no idea.
I had
that
no
whole
idea.
Time. Think about it.
But we didn't see.
Go
But
back
here's the
and-
deal:
go
is
back
we
in
had
time, think
to.
about if we knew then what we know now.
If only I knew then what I knew now.
How much better would we have smelled when we finally rolled into Florida?
Well, much better. But then, Sewanee to Greenville, North Carolina is a pretty long drive. I think it's about 8 hours. Because this, I think we just started fucking driving after that.
We were like, let's see how far we can go before our bodies just tell us, hey.
I feel like we might have stayed in like a welcome center or... I honestly...
It was a really nice welcome center somewhere. That guy was like...
Tennessee has good welcome
I
centers.
live right behind that welcome center.
No, that was Vermont. That was a Vermont thing. Crap. I don't know where we stayed, guys. Missing information. So then, the next day, we drive all day, and we rode up to Satan Place in Greenville, North Carolina, which...
Where we met Ken Mujo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's where we...
So you're telling me we met Ken Mujo literally a year and a day, 2 years and a day ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And we're playing another show with Ken Mujo and the Lollybombs. Ah! Ah! Whoa, dude! So wait a minute. That's crazy. That's crazy. Holy
crazy.
shit.
What?
Just the puzzle pieces. You can put them together if you want to. So we get to Satan Place, and it was so cool to see.
It was a great room.
Well, I love the Greenville, North Carolina music scene, and
They're tried and true, man.
Yeah, they are tried and trues, and you guys have heard us talk about Jeff Blinder a lot. We call him Saint Jeff. We're trying to find a good day for St. Jeffrey's Day, because there's a lot of Jeffreys in our life who like just make things better, and they've housed the musicians, and they make sure the rock rolls on.
We were in Lawrence, Kansas at the Gaslight Gardens, and that guy Jeffrey told us about the Jeffreys. He was like, yeah, he was years ago, and smited the goblins or something like that. I forget.
We were like, oh yeah, because we played in Lawrence. We're
Yeah.
like, St. Patrick's Day. We got any Patricks in the house? And they're like, no, but we got 3 Jeffreys. And we're like, oh, we love our Jeffreys. So, it was really cool. We rolled up there, and like I said, this tour was very much like.
Never met a bad Jeff.
No. Have you guys? But it was cool because I've known the Greenville scene for a long time, so it's cool to just reunite, man, and see friends. Like, after a lot happened to that music scene over COVID and since 2020, and a lot of
changes,
a lot of loss, a lot of changes. So when you roll up there and you get to hug John Strunk and see his sons all grown up, and you get there and Jeff's still holding down the scene, man, it was just so cool. And then we met Ken Mujo, and we're like, holy crap,
He's out of
dude.
sight, man.
He is out of sight, and I think he's touring in Europe right now. So if y'all can, definitely check this guy out.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to a Ken Mujo show, don't pass it up.
No, and he had sold like all out of his merch too. I remember we were like, can we just? Oh shoot, you're all sold out.
The stickers hold up because there's still one slapped inside my amplifier.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, cool. Just want to make sure my phone didn't fall during that. So we got to play Satan Place, and what a cool night, man. And then I'm pretty sure we moved on. I'm pretty sure we got in the van. Wow.
Yeah, we weren't.
This is
big
why we
on-
need to make these videos sooner.
I remember the first trip we didn't understand sleep yet.
No.
You know.
Well, we were both coming out of our own. We were
It was
both
like a-
coming into new. Is a better way to put it.
like a chrysalis stage.
Yeah.
You know?
Always rediscovery of a lot of things. So from Greenville,
Little Winston-Salem.
no, we went to. Actually, that brings us to today, 2 years ago, Smiley's open mic
Oh,
in
man.
Greenville, South Carolina, and we're gonna be going back to Smiley's open mic.
I will always go Smiley's.
Because
open mic.
here's the thing is, I feel like we always end up playing somewhere on a Sunday, and then we always end up at Soul Bar on a Tuesday, and it's like, well, why not, man? What else are you going to book on a Monday?
Playing somewhere on a Sunday and Soul Bar on a Tuesday.
So you got to go to Smiley's open mic in between. And this is Greenville, South Carolina. And I think I just looked it up on Facebook, like trying to find something to do on the 21st.
We found this like uniquely enchanted little magical spot, man. What a cool open mic.
In a cool town.
Yeah.
That's the night that we met that one dude
Yep.
who we then met at a show up here. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, I saw you at the Smiley's open mic. And we're like,
His name Jerry.
it might have been Jeff. So yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that might have been another Jeff. Whoa. Sorry, guys.
Every time.
Every time I feel like as soon as someone enters the chat, it's like they actually open a door and my phone falls down.
This is the best sweater.
Oh, your Casco Beret
I
sweater.
love this sweater.
So we went to Smiley's open mic, and it's one of those places where you each get 2 songs, and this is before we met the owner. We met the owner last year, so we just kind of went back on a whim.
Yeah, this is like a Rafters Tavern well-seasoned musician type of open mic, you know.
I got such Rafters vibes.
Yeah, these
from
people
Smiley's.
have been like bizzing around for a while. They knew their business, you know.
I can't wait to get back down there and just see
Fiddle
what's up.
players and all kinds of cool stuff, man.
So if you
I get when I see a fiddle or I see a mandolin, it makes me extra excited.
I get jazzed.
Yeah.
So if you're ever traveling through Greenville, South Carolina, and you're a musician and you're looking for an open mic, every Monday night, Smiley's open mic, that is the place to go. So I remember we played that, and I feel like at some point we probably got a hotel on one of these nights, but I can't remember.
Chileo probably came to our rescue.
No, we didn't know her yet, dude.
Oh man.
We didn't know anyone yet. This
We're
was
way
like,
back in
this
time
is
now.
so fresh. This is no sponsors, no
Time
like
travel, dude,
pictures. We didn't even take pictures together. You know what I mean? Like we're both these pictures were taken before we knew each other. So we just put this poster together
Time
and
travel's tough, man.
we're like,
It's,
hey, where you at,
It
dude?
really makes the days kind of bleed.
Yeah.
You know, years become days. It's weird.
Yeah. And this is one of those things where, just, you know, Smiley's open mic, February 21st, was where we were 2 years ago today. And we will be there again in about a few weeks. So we thought it'd be cool to,
Mention.
just talk about this tour before we forget about it, because things do start to run together, and you know, this is a pretty good example of it, because this is the first one. A lot's happened since this. The festival, the comps, there's no comp cards. We didn't have a tour t-shirt. I only had my FK shirts.
Yep.
No For Crying Out Loud. So this is pretty crazy. You know, like this is we know a lot of people at this point. So next night, we roll on down to Augusta, Georgia, which is one of my personal favorite cities ever. It's just so...
You gotta know
What
the name of that taco place is.
No, it wasn't Fuzzies, because
No.
Fuzzies was like in Missouri
No,
somewhere.
it wasn't Fuzzies. I'll figure it out.
So we went to Soul Bar, which I had played there many years ago, and I was so freaking excited to get back, and it was just so cool to see Jason and see the place still just kicking, man. The whole town actually is just one of the coolest towns to walk around. It's James Brown's hometown. So like you kind of feel the spirit, man. It's like you can walk through the streets, and like some of the shops, like the clothes in the windows are just so freaking cool. I hope one day to go on a
I want one of
shopping
those
spree there.
suits.
Dude, you could go.
Man.
You can go to Augusta and get the best
I would
suit.
rock. I would look good in one of those
Look
suits. I
up
think
Soul
you
Bar.
know who
Look
would
up Soul
look really
Bar.
good. You know who would look really good in one of those suits?
Hmm.
Fucking Greg Castro.
Greg Castro can wear anything he wants.
Fucking Greg Castro would rock those suits, man.
It was before I worked with Greg on an album. You know, like a lot. This was a very crazy time. So we went and we played at Soul Bar, and that was a night with the comedians.
Oh yeah,
That was a night with
we did a gig with some comedians.
That was so crazy. It was
That was
like
kind of cool.
it was like
actually,
we opened for a night of comedy, and
which is like perfect for us.
yeah, I felt like a big joke around at that
Couple
point.
fuck
I was a
faces.
couple freaks.
Let's see.
So yeah, we'll be playing at Soul Bar on the next tour, and I'm psyched to get down there. It's one of the best cities. And then that's when this is when the trip got really freaking funny, because we decided to start driving from Augusta, Georgia to Port St. Lucie in Florida. And I believe it was probably 2 a.m. We stopped at a gas station in Georgia because we needed some snacks. We needed some like Monster energy drinks or something. And we were in there, and we saw a police officer, and we casually said hello. And
Nacho Mamas.
Nacho Mamas is the place in oh man. I'd do anything for burrito right now, man.
Nacho Mamas.
Yo, you know,
dude.
we're gonna have burritos and fish tacos here in a few weeks out the wazoo. So.
I love Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah. The people. That's where. And oh man, I never remember her name, but we see her every time we go there. This girl with the
dancing
stickers.
Girl. Yeah, the girl with stickers. She dances.
Yeah, she's freaking awesome, man. It's just like Augusta has soul. It's always had soul, and it still has soul, and it's one of my favorite places. Man. It's got a spirit.
There's to Augusta.
To Augusta. So we have a great night at the Soul Bar. I'm gonna turn this on just so we don't lose too much light. And we start driving to Florida, and we are stoked. I'm stoked. I'm like, I can't wait. I don't want to drive too far because I'd like to see some Florida in the daylight. But we had to be in Port St. Lucie at a certain time.
Hit that camera button for a second there. Is that
What camera button?
that one?
Why?
Just for a second.
So we had to get down to Port St. Lucie, and we had a very long drive. I forget the exact drive from Solbar, because you know that's in Georgia. Then you got to go all the way through Georgia, and then you got to go down the coast, and then you got to go halfway through Florida. And we decide to start driving that night. We're at the gas station, and we see the police officer. We casually say, "Hey, hello." He kind of gives us a weird look.
I like this.
And so, I remember, this is from my perspective. We
I had
pumped the
silver
gas.
nail polish on. We're dressed in crazy clothes.
It was like post-show, like
we were
not
in the middle
even
of
at it.
nowhere. Where was that little town? I don't remember what it was called. I felt it was like Hazard County.
Slovenia County. I think that's where it was. Because I saw the ticket the other day. And
Tell you what a cool experience. Anyway.
So this is what happens. We start driving down the way, and it was a total speed trap. And you come out of the intersection, right? And it's like one of those like double two lanes.
It's like an intersection. You know, there's a road that comes this way, so we're coming down. You got to stop, right?
Yeah.
But then you stop, and then you make a left turn, and it goes either up on the highway or like this do not enter area. But there's no real sign until you're up on the thing that says do not enter.
Until
you're like, oh, man, I'm going
you're
the wrong
literally
way.
a quarter of the way down, and then you find out you're going the wrong way down the highway.
So you got to back up or turn around. So you know.
He did honestly, it was a respectable move. You put your four-ways on, and you did a nice little loop.
Yeah,
You did a U-turn. Well, the cop also did a U-turn. The same guy who was at that gas station, he did a U-turn.
He followed, but
he was weird about it, man.
He left when we left the gas station. So it's funny because, you know, when we're on tour, we don't drink, we don't do drugs. We're like...
You gotta be sober. You gotta be straight on the road.
We're pretty straight and sober, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, there was nothing really to fear. It was just really bizarre. I mean, it was the New York plates, you know that. But...
Well, New York, yeah, it's you know... They may see Empire State and think something else, not like...
That's what it was. But, you know, I don't take that...
Not the Catskills.
I'm not like, you know, bothered by that. But he followed us for a good long time, and he was just waiting for his opportunity. But the thing is he totally super troopered us. Remember that?
He super troopered us. Wait, I need to bookmark something real quick.
Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Sorry, guys. So real quick, I just want to bookmark that and that super trooper moment.
Yeah.
Back up to, I believe it was probably between Satan Place and Smiley's. Yeah, that makes sense. That we stopped at south of the border. That's when we got that sticker right there. That is just always in our videos, and I'm like, oh, freaking south of the border sticker. So we stopped there, and that's where you found the faith sticker. We found a sticker with a cross on it.
Yeah, saved our butts.
And he slapped it on the back of the car. All right, we're going down south. So we got Woodstock, we got Faith, and I forget, maybe Catskill Brewery up there. So, all right, go back to Super Trooper. He's Super Troopers us.
Yeah, I mean, so anyway, I correct my maneuver, you know, and I get up on the highway, and I'm going the right way. I don't think nothing of it. All of a sudden, we're driving along, and we see the headlights come up behind us, and I'm like, oh, man, here we go. And he comes up behind us, and he pulls off. And then he flies past us, and goes whipping up the highway. And I'm like, what the f is going on?
What is going on,
Yeah,
dude?
so I got my cruise control going, man. We're tooling down the road, and all of a sudden, I see him slow way down. He slows way down, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I go by him, and then he flies up behind me and turns his lights on. It was like very dramatic. It was very.
It was a really dramatic.
Yeah, it was really,
he was
really.
He was kind of showing off.
He was showing off a little bit, which I don't mind because he's probably really bored. And in the end,
it didn't seem like a county that a lot goes on in.
And tell you what, man, I never met two nicer fellas in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I think the younger cop knew. He was like, not buying it. So what happens is, red, white, and blue in the mirror. Like, I'm like, it's 2 a.m. man. We are so tired. We really still haven't slept correctly.
We look like shit.
Yeah, we haven't slept correctly since cabs. Maybe
if I were a cop and I had pulled us over that night, I would have thought, what are these two on? We were on
we're high on life.
Lack of food, lack of sleep, like a couple
Rocked
thousand,
out, yeah.
like 1.5 miles. So he doesn't know though. He doesn't know.
So he comes up to the window and he starts asking questions and stuff.
He walks up. He says, "You know why I pulled you over, right?"
And he goes, "Yeah, man. Did you see that?"
Yeah, man. Like I couldn't believe it. I was going up that ramp. And next thing you know, I'm going the wrong way. So I turned around. That way he pulled me over. He's like,
"Yeah,
actually, yeah.
Yeah, that is." Well,
So,
there was no lights at that intersection too, so it's like you didn't really see.
I told him, I
the
said,
right
you know,
way.
it's a little tricky there, don't you think? You know. Of course, we had the recorder going.
Yeah, we do have this on camera
Yeah.
somewhere.
And so I think, you know, he was aware that Faith Kelly was like making a little video and stuff like that. And so he
The second car rolls up though.
yeah, second car rolls up. It's an older fella, you know, a little more seasoned, a little more time under his belt. So he moves Opie Taylor out of the way and he starts talking to Faith, you know, "Hey, how you all doing?" You know, she says, you know, she starts explaining that we're musicians and we've been driving for hours and we're tired, and he totally got it.
Yeah.
He's
He
like,
did get it
"Oh,
right away.
Geez, where are you coming from?" We're like, "Oh, Catskills, upstate New York." "Oh, geez, you're a long way from home." You know, we told him about our shows and blah, blah, blah. And so then,
Well, he goes, "I saw the sticker on the back of the car. You guys play like faith-based music? We guys play like Christian music?" And I'm like, "Well, my name is Faith."
Yep.
You
we
know?
absolutely do.
We ended up getting, well, his name was like, we asked what his name was. He's like, "My name is Officer Dews. It's like Mountain, except with, wait.
He's like
it's like-
Mountain Dew, but without the mountain.
Yeah, without Mountain Dew, without the mountain."
And then he proceeded to invite us to come into town and stay, because he says, "You all look real tired." And he got that we were driving. He says, "We have a nice hotel in town if you want to need a place to stay. And, oh, by the way, we're having a pancake breakfast in the morning."
He invited us to come play at the
Invited
pancake
us to come out and play at the
breakfast.
pancake breakfast, but man, we had Florida on the mind.
I didn't want to hang out too long out
No.
there, man. We had some hours to get down. I wanted to get down to
But I
Florida.
gotta say, it was nice of him to invite us out.
I'm sorry, guys.
I just want to say, though, it was nice of him to invite us out to catch some sleep and to have a pancake.
Dude, and to play
I
a
think-
pancake breakfast for the church, I thought would actually, now looking back, I'm like,
You know what?
we
Next
should.
next time we roll through that part of Georgia, we'll look them up and we'll go play a show at their like farmers market or something.
I think that you might have emailed his.
Oh yeah, I gave him a commendation.
Yeah, I think we emailed his district and was like, "This guy, Officer Dews, is awesome, man."
Yeah, I like to give good commendations, you know.
But I think that his son, it seemed like a father-son, like runs in the family, become a cop kind of deal.
Yo, man, look, we were the most exciting thing going on there probably for the last couple of weeks. And so it was nice to have a conversation with him and to get to know a couple fellas from the local area. And
He gave us a warning though.
Yeah.
We got a slip, but there was no ticket. There was
gave
no
us
price.
a souvenir.
Yeah, I was kind of, because it's hanging up in the living room, and I look
Well,
at
I
it
get
sometimes.
it, man. You know, don't go the wrong way on a one-way street.
That they should probably light it up and
Yeah,
mark it a
but,
little bit better. You
Yeah,
know, it's
John Cougar said you can't. You know, he always wins, man.
So
You know?
we keep driving on that night, and I know what we did then. We were like, "Oh, that's what we were like. Let's drive out Savannah, Georgia."
I love Savannah, Georgia.
Because I've never gotten to book a show there. I really would like to play in this town. It just hasn't happened, but we always like to stop in there. And we were so tired. We roll into Savannah and we're like, let's find a hotel. Not easy. So we're like walking into, because we are wiped out after the past few days. And we're like, let's find a hotel. I'm sure we'll get a deal. It's like 3 a.m. That doesn't happen much anymore, unfortunately. So we did end up finding a place, slept for a few hours, and I remember waking up, taking such a nice jog through Savannah.
All the mossy trees.
All the mossy trees. And then we checked out and we're like, all right, let's get down to Florida. But man, I could use some coffee. And let's walk around Savannah a little bit, because we got into town really late.
And this is where I met.
Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't meet Black Rifle Coffee. You fell in love with Black Rifle Coffee.
I didn't know about it until Savannah, Georgia. We stumbled upon it.
Yeah. Well, because we are walking around, and there's like the main street, right? There's like, I don't know if anyone's been there, but when you go there, there's like a main street, a lot of brick wall. All right, guys, sorry.
It's really
I had
cool.
to settle this phone.
It's really cool because you got these two witchy girls, right? A long story short. So we're walking. We need coffee. We walk into this little, like, it's a witch store, like a herbal remedy store. And these two really cool, like, witchy women we're like, well, there's a coffee place down the street. Maybe you ought to check that out.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I'm going to preface it because we were like, where can we get some coffee around here? There's like there's the main street of Savannah, and then you walk down some stairs, and then there's like another kind of street by the bay. Right?
cobblestone, yeah.
Cobblestone kind of street. And we just wanted some coffee because we had to get to Florida. And the girls were like, well, there's this coffee shop. It's a walk away, but 2 doors down is this other coffee, but it's a little red. And we don't really go there. We don't really know what it is. It's called Black Rifle Coffee, so we kind of stay away from there. But if you go, let us know how it is. So we're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go see what this Black Rifle Coffee is. And it's just a veteran-owned based company, and they make really good coffee.
The best coffee, man. And so we did. We went back and reported, and so those 2 girls go get coffee there now. And it's funny because
the people who work
it was the same exact environment. We walk into Black Rifle Coffee,
and there's all these like cool witchy chicks working there, you know.
Yeah, they're a little, they're just a little more into like the Second Amendment and stuff like that. It was like same circus.
In the merchandise, there's some Second Amendment merchandise, but when you get to the core of the coffee, and I'm not sponsored by them at all. But if they're listening and they would like to sponsor us, we're down.
I'll take. We don't want your money. We just. I just want coffee.
I want the bean. You know.
We just need travel coffee.
Just need some travel coffee.
I think they only employ veterans or something.
I do. I think they mostly employ veterans. Yeah. I think that most of it is.
I think that's why they get the rap for being like red coffee, is because they employ veterans. I don't see that as like such a.
I don't think it's super red to me. I think
idea.
When you look into the company, it's pretty cool. So we went there, and that's where we found the love of Black Rifle Coffee, and that's why.
Straight to my heart.
Well, the coffee was so good. We got the 1776. We got the 1776 latte, and it was like a salted caramel. Dude, and we're going there.
Salted caramel white mocha or something like that.
I think it was just some kind of salted caramel mocha, which is like my favorite kind of latte. It started at Starbucks. Ended up Black Rifle Coffee.
We built the bridge that day because I know them girls are getting coffee over there now.
Yeah, we went back in there and we were like, guys, this place is, if you look past the merchandise, which is not, I think they house a company merchandise is in there. And you just go straight for that coffee. It's pretty cool. And then they also give a lot of money to,
I did get one of the most comfortable
homeless veteran organizations and whatnot.
One of the most comfortable T-shirts I own was the one I got there.
That's a great shirt.
The one you picked out.
Yeah, that's a great shirt. So yeah, then we left Savannah and we continued down the way to the Kava Cat in Port St. Lucie. And what a cool night that was, man. That was our first Dead Dreams booking show.
I know.
And
I don't remember much of it.
I do, actually. I remember quite a bit. We rolled up, and it's Kava Cat is kind of in like a little outlet. And it was dark by the time we got there. I don't think we went to the beach that day. I think we just kind of drove through.
We rolled in there.
I think that was the day that we found a park, and I took a jog, and I saw an alligator, and I was like,
oh yeah,
oh my God. I came running back. I'm like, there's alligators here.
It's funny, every time we see an alligator now, I think a gator.
Yeah. It was just, it was so cool. And I've said this about Florida before, like driving through it. I've been all over the country in the past, but I'd never actually been to Florida. And at this point, and you can get a past life and kind of weird stuff like that. But there's a lot of places that feel familiar to me, like Appalachian Mountains, Catskills, even the Wild West. Bisbee has a lot of deja vu moments for me.
Yo, Bisbee reminds me of my dad. Like, I think of my dad when I'm out there. Because he was all about that.
I can't wait to get out to Bisbee.
He was about the desert life.
We have focus. We have so many videos on Bisbee. So we get there, and that's where we met Johan.
Yep.
And what a cool...
We didn't meet Sarah that night, though.
No, that was before we knew Sarah. And it was a cool event that Michael had put together where, like, there was all of these, like, kind of like a LARP situation going on out back of the Kava Cat. Do you remember that? There was, like, people were dressed up like Skyrim characters.
Yeah.
It was, like, a very bizarre... There's hula hoops. There was art. There was Kava.
A lot of NPCs.
Yes, a lot of NPCs. And we played the show there, and it was a very good time. And then I think, so then we went, okay. So then we started across the next day to St. Pete. All right, this makes sense to me now. This is really weird racking your brain from something that happened 2 years ago.
Or was that the second tour?
No, that was that other tour. Oh, strange.
You just got to turn it off and turn it back on. It's not a timer on it.
Okay. So then we drove across Florida, and it was a magical time because there were so many cool trees, and we went and we looked at Okeechobee.
Land of the Lost.
Yeah. It was like a toe dip into Florida because...
I say it every time, man. Okeechobee area, Florida reminds me of the 1970s Land of the Lost. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, the original Slee Stacks.
Right.
And yeah.
It's
like
so
that.
Jurassic to me. It's like it's the one place in the country that, like, when I'm in Florida, it truly feels foreign to me.
I
It's
feel
like
anything can grow there.
anything could come out.
Yeah.
I should tell everyone
It's like
about
Sri
this
Lanka.
dream I had last night, man. I'll tell, if anyone's here listening, after we get through the tour, I'll tell you about the dream I had last night. It involves Bigfoot and Florida. So, which I don't know. I don't think Bigfoot's famous for Florida.
Well, but Bigfoot usually walks hand in hand with the whole alien conspiracy thing.
There's a lot of alien action down in Florida.
So they say.
Oh, well, I know. That's what I'm reading lately. That's part of the reason we go there. So, we drive across the country to play Organism Movement, which was like, what's up, Masha? To play like this, it was like a warehouse show.
So I left my mic stand.
Yeah, man, that
That
was a good
$80
mic.
mic stand.
I don't know if this venue
And a
is.
t-shirt that I bought. Had great artwork on the t-shirt.
Yeah, it was just a cool, weird DIY.
Let's just say Eric Best. I think he was kind of like a knight in shining armor that night.
Yeah. Oh man,
He dipped in like Batman. We're out of there.
And whipped us out. Yeah, that was a stranger show on this tour. I remember booking it just from someone I met online randomly, and it was like, all right, well, we have this February 24th off, and we're gonna be playing with Eric Best the next day, and it was like, well, we might as well find something in St. Pete. But this tour was not how I book tours usually. It was we had about a month. We decided we were gonna go and book it.
It's like playing darts with a blindfold on.
Yeah. Oh God. That totally describes booking a tour. So we played this little warehouse thing. It was strange, but it was fun. It was strange and fun. And Eric Best shows up, and it was great to see him in his
He showed up just in the nick of time to help us load out and get on our next
Oh, we went. I think that was the night that
there's some really cool artwork there too.
we
as
stayed
I
at the
remember.
Ponce.
Yeah, the Ponce Daily.
We were like, you know what? We were so tired. I'm pretty sure I had my period,
Oh,
and we were
Ponce.
like, let's go to the Ponce. Well, we called all around town and tried to find the
You know what?
cheapest
I don't
place.
even care if the handle for the sink fell off. I would stay at the Ponce again in a heartbeat.
Oh, same. It was like
Yeah.
a classic, cool
even
hotel.
though, yeah, it was so classic that nothing was ever updated, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, be careful when you turn water faucets on.
You don't want to turn that water faucet on too
You gotta
hard.
do it gentle.
Yeah, or else it might never turn off. So yeah, that night I think we went and we walked around St. Pete and saw Eric Best's favorite spots, and it was a really good, nice time.
Yeah, he gave us like the walking tour of the town.
Yeah.
And you know, there's many sides to St. Pete.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
St. Pete is
It's got a lot of sides to it.
a bizarre little world. And then the next day we woke up at the Ponce. Probably took it's called the Ponce de Leon.
Ponce de Leon.
Ponce de Leon, but we call it the Ponce.
The Ponce.
And we really, like I said, we weren't staying in hotels just before we kind of started van sleeping a whole lot more.
Ever since I was a kid, I was a really big fan of David Lynch.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say about the Ponce is if you're into the
That freaking lobby.
yeah, man.
So I remember that day pretty clearly, February 25th, when we were preparing to go play If I Brewed the World. We're like, what do we want to do today? And I said, well, I would love to walk around this town, but I really want to go have a pina colada on the beach. Because there were times in my life
Faith
where
Kelly-
I thought I would never be that chick on the beach in the bathing suit with I wanted that
growing
peanut
up,
on the
growing
beach.
up in the deep woods of Appalachia with all those cryptids and stuff like that, you didn't get many chances.
This girl doesn't look like she's at the beach, you know.
Yeah.
So the two of us, we went to the beach.
Is that what they call them, cryptids?
I think we went to Treasure Island Beach, or it was
The
like some.
Appalachians, as they call it, cryptids.
Or Appalachian. Well, it's Appalachian up north, Appalachian down south, from what I've realized.
That's what I'm piecing together.
So then we went to the beach, and it was a really nice, beautiful day, and we swam in the ocean, and I can remember singing Ocean by Velvet Underground at the top of my lungs, and swimming around in the water, and eating my first fish taco ever. So that's when I cut out of being a vegan. It was a good moment.
That was grilled.
And I mean, there was a lot of, for me, that was a period of, dare I say the word, recovery, you know, of just trying to refine and rediscover health, which is always a moving, curious process for every human.
Come a long way. Now we munch.
I know, man. Now I'm happy to be happy and healthy, and you know, I only wish the same for everyone. You know, it's a journey. Health and recovery is a journey. You know, I think being born is probably the most traumatic thing that happens to anyone. Like, think about it. You're like all warm and in the womb, and then you're born, and that's like your first trauma. You come out and you're like, what the.
Wow.
What? This? I gotta
this.
deal with this? Oh no, not again. And so your whole life is kind of like a recovery from your birth, you know? So then we finished up at the beach, and we had some piñas, and we swam a few times. You got burnt.
Yeah,
You were burnt, man.
I got crispy crittered. CRISPR'd.
I was looking at the pictures.
CRISPR's playing February 23rd with Frank
on Friday,
Hurricane,
yeah.
Cab Frank. So I got CRISPR'd on the beach, man.
He was so, oh man, I felt bad. Because I don't really burn. I just kind of, I get a few shades darker. It's my Greek Irishness. Helps in that way. But then, this is a very important part of the story. We were walking around St. Pete before If I Brewed the World show. And we found a thrift store. And I think that's where I bought those cute little suspenders. And I was talking to the boys, and I need some cowboy boots, because my cowboy boots are falling apart, and remember, my feet were always wet.
They were clomping.
My shoes were always, like, messed up.
Nasty,
like, I never allowed myself...
together with duct tape.
Yeah. And I found out that's not really good for your spine. But then, he was like, oh, you should go across the street and check out Wendy's Closet. And that was a life-changing experience. I will never forget it, man. We walked in there, and we only had probably 20 minutes before our show. And
we're rushing it.
Yeah, not even rushing, but it was like, oh, let's check it out. You know, maybe we find something.
And speaking of Russian, I need to tell Mike Danlin that I think MD and the Healers would be perfect to try to get on the cabaret stage at the Grassroots.
Yeah. Yeah,
anyway.
and Froggy Days. We got to get them to Froggy Days for sure. So then Wendy, who is now a dear friend of mine, comes out. This is the first time I saw Wendy. She looks at me. She's been working fashion and thrift stores and retro clothing for a long time. She is an expert.
You don't even know.
And she stands there, and she I swear she snaps her fingers, and her girls come out of the woodwork, man. Like all these, the people who work at the store come out. She calls out, she goes, well, what are you looking for? And I'm like, well, Space Cowboy. And she goes, okay, all right. She looks at me. She rattles off my sizes without taking them to a T. And she tells the girls, you go get this from this shelf. You go get this from this section. You go get this. You know that one piece with the gems? Bring that out. Man, that was such a cool moment. It was like a movie moment.
That was a great outfit she threw together, man.
And I wore it at that I wore it for a long time.
She came to that show that night.
I still wear the short, yeah, and we got to hang out there at the If I Brewed the World, and we played out in the back, and basically I have to go to Florida every February or March to get a new costume from Wendy. My silver pants, I got those there too.
All your good stuff.
The boots that I wore for a while, I got from her.
Sequin top, the shorts.
Yeah, that new sequin top, the new... Dude, I'm telling you guys, you go to St. Pete, you gotta go to Wendy's Closet. It's my favorite thrift store in America. And there are some really good ones, but I gotta say,
It's cool. You check the rack, and then you check the rack again, and you notice the boxes under the rack.
dude, that's
And
don't
you're
tell
like,
people about the costume box.
oh, yeah.
Actually, no, you should, because I don't want to hog all the good costumes, you know.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, but the thing is, she knows, oh man, it's just such a cool shopping experience. It's not like a thrift store that you go in and you have to root around. She'll help you find stuff.
I'm built like a space alien, so I can never find anything anywhere.
You got that brown top at Many Fine Things.
Catskill Brewery fits me well. The sweater is nice.
I love that sweater. I almost stole it. I had it for a minute, but then I gave it back.
Yeah, she knows merch, man.
Yeah. So then we went to If I Brewed the World, which is just a really cool venue. We will be back there on St. Patty's Day, once again with Eric Bess, 3 times the charm, on St. Patrick's Day, the freaking Three Amigos.
The new St. Jeffrey's Day.
Dude, yeah, I think we're gonna be St. Jeffrey's Day soon.
St. Jeffrey's Day will be the day after St. Patrick's Day, or should it be the day before everybody gets obliterated?
Well, we should ask some Jeffreys which days they think St. Jeffrey's Day should be.
We'll
So
do a Jeffrey poll.
if anyone knows what day they think St. Jeffrey should be, I don't know if it's my place to say what day their day should
No,
be.
it's not our place.
Yeah, I'm just Faith. You know, you're just Kaz. So we go and we play If I Brewed the World, and we have a great time with Eric. And good time, we hung out with him the night before because we had to drive because we were on some weird time schedule.
That universal time schedule.
Oh yeah, we had to keep it to 10 days for X, Y, and Z. But then we had to go from Florida to Sagebird Cider Works in Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is a very, very long drive. I'd say.
That's where we met Corey Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, Sagebird Cider Works. That was a long drive. And it was tough because it was like 85 degrees and sunny in Florida. And then as we were driving up north, it was like just watching the degrees go down and down and down. And
Icy north, the weights.
I think we might have taken a nap. We probably ate some sheets.
We definitely had some sheets. This
As
is
soon
before
as
we
we got in
discovered. We
Virginia.
didn't discover Subway on this trip.
Yeah, we weren't in the subway yet.
You didn't discover like
I wasn't ready for tuna at that point.
finger eating bean dip from the can.
This was, like I said, this was this was when touring was very new to us, this very first tour. And we wanted to see if we could do it, and we did it. And a 4-week tour, a 6-week tour, a 5-week tour, a 3-week tour, and we're about to go back down.
Cool.
Oh, hell. So we went out to Sagebird Cider Works in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And man, what a cool spot. I can't wait to get up there. And we're going to be playing there. I think it's March 30th on this next tour. So we're super stoked to get back up there. They got some of the best cider I've ever had. And Harrisonburg is cool because it's like when you go to a place like Florida and you feel very far away. At that point, this was like before we went to any of the Dakotas or Montana or Arizona, which now Florida seems really, really close. As like now, like Florida's like a day drive as opposed to some of our other favorite places to go. But we went to Sagebird Cider Works and got to see Christina. We re-met up with Jaguardini.
We love Jaguardini.
I got a really nice sweater.
I like what he's doing now.
Yeah, dude. He's out there rocking, man. He's don't ever stop. You can never stop to our rock and roll friends, man.
Well, Jaguardini's cool because his music changes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's like Max Lee. You know, it's like who else was I talking to the other day? Oh, you know who I was talking to? Black Cat Jay.
Oh my god.
You know.
This is before we knew Black Cat Jay.
All these dudes are like they change. You know, it's kind of cool. Anyway.
Their sound continues to evolve.
Yeah.
So we played that show, and it was a really fun time. And what do we do after that? I think we just kind of hit the road, and I don't know if we got a room. I think we might have gotten some kind of room because, going from St. Pete to Virginia, was a lot. That was almost as tough as Parksville to Tennessee.
Yeah, it was a rough one.
But
we learned some good lessons.
Yes.
On that tour.
Like, give yourself time to sleep. You know, like we're not 20 anymore where we can just
well, even then you got to have that downtime, man, because you're not gonna play appropriately if you're exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, and you want to be able to, every time you go up and play a set, you should be a little rested, a couple hours. Anyway.
Yeah, just enough to.
Yeah, there's times when we rolled right into the parking lot from the road after 7 hours, set up and played.
And that'll probably happen, you know.
It'll happen again.
It'll happen again, but you know, you learn how to make it 7 hours and not 14 hours. Well, 14 hours is it's a lot.
It's important to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
You gotta stay hydrated.
You gotta stay hydrated and you gotta stay fed, and that's been like a lifelong learning for me personally. But then
I get a lot of flack from my friends for promoting this, but V8 juice.
What kind of flack do you get about V8?
Well, it's salt. It's nothing but a can of salt, and blah blah blah. Or you know, even like tomato juice, just regular tomato juice. You know.
Yeah.
Lifesavers, Cliff Bars, not Lifesavers the candy. I'm saying that tomato juice is a lifesaver.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that this trip. You know.
No, we didn't know that at this point.
I forgot what we were eating.
We were snacking. It was a while ago. Sheets. So then we had to go from Sageburg Cider Works to the Rusty Nail.
Oh boy. Got to see Veronica.
We got to see Veronica, and that was nice. And we got to see DJ.
Got to see DJ.
But, you know, sometimes we
drove a good 8 hours.
Yeah, we drove a good 8 hours.
All I wanted was one shot of Jägermeister.
That's all I wanted was a shot of Jaeger, man.
That's it. Just one shot of Jäger. We didn't even care what we made that night.
Yeah.
We were like...
And then they wanted to charge us like $10 a shot for Jaeger. And it's like, man...
Said, well, we don't give musicians drinks anymore because, you know...
They take advantage of it. I'm like, dude...
No, man.
We just drove 16 hours from Florida.
Trust me, I'm not taking advantage of your bar tonight.
It's freaking cold out. It was 20 degrees when we got to Ardmore, and we'd just come from Florida. But you know what? The warmth of getting to see Veronica,
dude, it was so cool
hang
to be
out,
able to roll in and see just familiar faces and friends. It was just like, that was kind of cool. So it was a nice welcome home.
We're home. Yeah, we're kind of home. Ardmore, I think, is like a little bit out of the Philly area, which I felt bad because, you know, Nick. Oh crap, he's on Instagram, and he was one of our first videos that we did with like our Indiegogo on one of our other tours. He's like messaged me the other day after he saw that I had posted about this. He's like, "Oh, cool, you're coming to my neighborhood." I'm like, "Nah, dude, that's from 2 years ago. Shit, we should meet 2 years ago." So we played there, and I thought you played very funny that night. I thought you played very good.
Well, I gave him what they
needed to pay for. Yeah, well, look, I just, you know, respect goes a long way. So we played that show, and at the end of the day, it was really great to see Veronica and her friends, and then hit the road back home. So we probably ate some Sheets, and Sheets, if you don't know, for anyone who's not from the Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia area, is a gas station chain, and it was actually one of my first jobs. I was the youngest shift supervisor in the company. Just saying. But that was the job that my boss told me to go follow my dreams, and well, here we are.
Yep, there she was.
Dreams. And I did actually get to see Chris, my boss, and I'll probably see her again when we go to Florida. But this tour happened very quickly. Oh, I remember. So February 27th, we start driving back home from Ardmore, PA. And it got icy.
Oh, dude, the ice.
I remember beforehand, you're like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I should take my winter tires off before going to Florida," and you didn't, and it was really good thing you didn't because the ice was insane.
We were like, "Well, we're coming back to maybe weather."
It was so icy. It was like an ice storm.
It was a rough transition because I mean, you know, we were really walloped with the Great White North when we came in.
Well, and here's the thing too: is like, we didn't get to spend nearly as much time. We enjoyed every second that we were in Florida so much, but we didn't have enough time there, which is why we're going there for 3 weeks essentially.
Snow and
About
ice.
10 days we'll be down there. And
It's funny because the welcome Pennsylvania sign was dripping ice.
yeah, and we're like,
Oh God.
no, take me back to the beach. Well, we made it home safe, but it was one of those things where it was like, once, you know, to get to the Catskills and where we are, you have to like go get off the highway and drive for like an hour on back roads. And those back roads, we were super scary. It was not a safe time, and we made it home, and we were relieved, and we couldn't believe how freaking cool this journey was. And this is the journey that started it all. What's up, Julia? And yeah, that was it. 10 days of crazy
Learning.
Learning.
It was like a little tour camp, little tour boot camp.
Yeah. And I look back on this little thing very fondly. So, you know, we're gonna go.
Look how few stickers are on the case.
Oh, his guitar case. Oh.
There's a lot more now.
Yeah, yeah, your guitar case is. Yeah, we're both looking for each other in these pictures, because these were both taken before we knew each other, and now all of our tour pictures are together.
There's the Eric Best sticker. It's still hanging on by a thread. He has some quality stickers, man.
Oh yeah, there's the Eric Best sticker.
You want a sticker that's gonna last on your guitar case? Slap an Eric Best sticker on that puppy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is dark here, Julia. We started this and it was like a really nice golden hour. What time is it?
I shut my light off.
How are we doing on time? All right, about an hour. The 6-week tour video was like 2.5 hours. This makes sense, about an hour. Yeah, y'all, we will be starting our tour on March 1st, 2024. And it's crazy to think 2 years ago we were at Smiley's.
I know.
Tonight.
We're gonna be there in a couple weeks.
That was so cool, man. I like that place.
I like them old fellas, man.
Yeah, it's very Rafters-esque.
I like to play with the
Masters,
Mike Watt,
rock and roll grandpas.
Mike Watt call them the Fenders of the craft. You know, like the old timers, the ones that just love music.
Yeah, we should So eventually we will do a video for.
Sometimes they're grumpy till they get behind a banjo or something. Next thing you know,
they're happy and down to talk, and it's just really cool. So if there's something you're trying to do out there, whether it's music or movies or art or any kind of job.
We're going back to the Stout Snug.
No, unfortunately, that was so we were going to go to the Snout Snug, but they're having a private event and they want to have karaoke instead of open mic. It happens. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Kayleen said, thanks for sharing the Eden Cafe interview on Facebook. I loved it. Which was, there's all right, we'll talk about it for a second. The black sky under Harper's Rock.
Oh, dude.
Well, it popped up in my memories today. I didn't even tell you this. Me and Aaron Dalla Villa did a press run for this movie that never came out. And Pledge, which is a movie that did come out. It's a really great movie.
It's going to be the movie of the century.
But we made the movie back in like 2018. And, voila. And we made this movie. It never came out. I hope it does. Come on, Steve. Come on, Steve, finish it. And this interview came up at Eden Cafe, which I guess this guy did like a podcast, and Aaron Dalla Villa and I were interviewed on it. And I shared it with Kayleen today for the for the fan page, and I'm like, oh my god, this movie. No, but the thing is that press run wasn't just for.
I love the mystery behind this movie, though. Like they had merch for the movie,
and you wear the hat all the time.
So Faith Kelly's got a Black Sky Under Harper's Rock hat
and a shirt.
I throw
and a poster somewhere.
I throw the hat on once in a while, and people are like, "What is Black Sky Under Harper's Rock?" And I'm like, "Oh, wait for it." It's coming.
Dude, it's
coming. So I'm
what did you say the other day? You wanted to tell someone at the store who was like, "What is Black Sky Under Harper's Rock?"
I had a whole backstory but that's for Aaron Dalla Villa. If he wants to give us a call, I'll give him. I
gotta tell him what it is. It was pretty funny.
For him that he'll really enjoy.
But he also that was a double promotional for his movie. And Galen, correct me, you would know more. Is it Pledge or is it The Pledge? I forget. It was a really freaking good horror movie that he did a few years back. So that was a feature, and we were kind of like, he was doing like a press run around it, and Pledge was a damn good movie, Caswin. You gotta watch it.
We didn't watch it.
I have not gotten to show you that yet. I gotta see if it's on Tubi. But yeah, that I gotta say that Pledge role that actually inspired how I was in that the aggression of the walkway character I did. You know, you gotta see the movie. Pledge. Thank you, Galen. It's a really good movie for anyone who needs to watch one. And Aaron Dallavilla is a very badass actor, and musician. So, anywho, with that being said, how do we get onto this topic of
Harper.
Oh yeah, the
movie that
so that interview popped up from like 5 years ago. So I sent it to Galen because she's running the fan Patreon, and I was like, you got to see this. So with that being said, I think we're gonna go on in. I actually gotta start the process of creating 200 more kazoos.
Yep.
Every time there's a tour, there's kazoos that need to be painted because
you gotta get the back of the t-shirt sent to Van.
I'm waiting on one more confirmation from Danny Beach.
All right.
It should be a good one. And then we can try to get that cleared up. But just want to say thank y'all for joining us on these little adventures and whatnot. It's fun to recap the experience of the road and try to remember for ourselves and maybe to inspire someone or to give someone a laugh out there. And we hope to see you tomorrow night, open mic night at the Dale. Every Thursday, we're in it to win it at the Dale in Mountaindale with Sarah. And when we're not there, Richard Travis hosts. So it's always going on. And there's only 2 days of the year that it's moved from Thursday to Sunday, which is the July 4th Thursday, and which is not every year. And then the Thanksgiving Thursday is usually used. And the Sunday open mics are crazy.
Richard's going to start hosting. Let's see here.
Probably because we got him on a tour show.
I checked with him, and he's good to go.
Cool.
So our last open mic will be
at 7th. And then 7th. He'll be the 14th, 21st, and 28th.
Yep. So he'll be hosting 14th.
And then we're bringing the Lollybombs back home with us. So they'll be at the one that we come back to. It's going to be a crazy week. Yeah, we kind of, with this tour, it's like, it was technically a 3-week tour, but then we were like, let's just make it a 5-week, including the stuff at home and the stuff at the
abroad.
The stuff the week before and the stuff after. So we're going to kick it off in Pine Bush. And we're going to go to Bethel. Go hang out with the Hector's crew. Open mic it all week. We got cabs for, oh yeah, man. Maybe get Steve Tans. Man, he's such a good drummer.
We'll go wherever the universal way tells
Galen
us.
says he was a real badass dude who got what he deserved at the end. That's great. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go in and eat some dinner and finish planning this tour. Thank y'all for listening to the tale of our first tour ever, a 10-day run to Florida because of Eric Best. Yeah, we wouldn't be touring without Eric Best. Dude.
There's a lot of details, too, but you need a pot of coffee.
Wait, I forgot. We have to tell them a story real quick. The cat.
The cat. Oh, God.
Dude,
Otis.
We named him that. At
Otis.
What point did we stay? It might have been between Florida and Virginia that we stopped in Asheville, North Carolina.
That video for everybody.
Yeah, I'll repost it. So
all he wanted was some French bread.
Dude, we rolled up to this hotel in Asheville, North Carolina. Wiped out because I think that was the super long drive from Florida to Virginia. And we parked the car. We got the room, went out to the car to have a smoke and get our stuff. And this freaking orange cat jumps right up on the window. He's walking all around. He's meowing. He's like trying to get in through the windows.
Little paws come down in a face.
In his face. We'll repost the video on the stories.
His little head comes down, looks at us, and starts making this really crazy meow.
It was crazy.
And so I cracked my window. I'm like, hey. And he was trying to climb.
He was trying to get in the car. He wanted to come home with us.
He wanted to get into the car and
Oh man.
Normally, but all he wanted was some French bread.
Oh my God.
No, the croissant.
We did
the
get, yeah, we
croissant,
gave him
yeah.
some croissants because I
He
think one of the
was
venues
like
gave
so
us some.
happy with it. He was like, all right.
He
And
was so cool.
He took the croissant. And, like, he took the croissant and took off, man.
We watched him climb up a hill.
Otis rolled me for my croissant.
Dude, this was crazy. We couldn't leave this vehicle for like 20 minutes because this cat was like, every time we'd open the door, he'd scurry
Yeah, he's
across
coming in,
the
man.
other way and try to get in there.
Well, all he wanted was croissant.
Yeah. Man, it was really.
We'll repost the video.
We're going to repost the video. You got to see this to believe it. So, on that note, whoa. I'm gonna go make some kazoos and eat some dinner and think about this next tour. If there's anything you want to see in our silly little videos, he could probably smell Kika. Dude, but that was before Kika was like living with us, really. Yeah. That was like I think what happened is when we were away, Kika went in the house on that big month-long tour and just never left.
No, he just was like these people. He saw it on our faces that we love cats.
He's like, I'm
good here.
Yeah, this was
whatever that
we laughed
eating.
about this for a long time.
And then he took that croissant. Remember, he dragged it up on the hillside.
Yeah.
And then he sat over there eating the croissant, staring at us.
You know, I bet you when I edit this video to put it on YouTube, I could attach that video at the very end of it. I'm going to try that because I have to flip it backwards because when I put it on our YouTube, this will be the right way, not backwards. Man, that was hilarious. So, actually, on the note of the cat, we're going to go in and do this stuff. We hope to see you at open mic. If there's anything you want to see from us in our videos as we plan out this next tour, we are planning actual stops that we're going to review and whatnot. So we actually know what we're walking into a little bit.
Yeah, throw us some ideas.
Yeah, you want to go see pet a crocodile? No. Unless it's at like a zoo or something.
Want to watch Faith Kelly go bungee jumping?
I think I'd rather someone go to the support the tour page and get us like a meal than bungee jump. You know what I mean? Like
I don't want to bungee jump.
Or like I don't need to bungee jump.
I'm a tourist, man. I don't need to be jumping off stuff.
I'd go bungee jumping. You know, I skydived twice a long time ago. I could probably bungee jump, but now it's like I don't want to ruin my hands or break something.
Yeah, you don't want to mess around.
No.
Can't play guitar if you break a finger.
No.
You know?
No, I can't.
We could Tony Iommi that shit if you wanted to, but
I'll just get you to play all my songs and I'll sing them. No. Anyways, y'all, we love you, and I'm gonna see if I can attach that cat video at the end of this. And thank you guys for being on this journey with us. Love y'all.
Did you get a picture of it?
I got a video. Oh my gosh.
That's crazy, dude. What the fuck? Whoa. We're never getting out of this car alive. Man. Why do cats love their buttholes so much? I'm gonna have to wash this car tomorrow. Hey. He's well kept though, man. It's not like he's dirty. They don't care, they'll just Dude, you need to fuck off, cat. You're getting a little too ballsy now. Fuck off.
Oh no.
What the fuck? Dude, seriously. This cat is crazy. I'm gonna launch him, ready?
No, you might hurt him.
Hey. You're cute as fuck, dude. Like I would take you. If you were in New York, man, he'd be going home with me, man. He's off.
Oh, he's off.
Yeah, he's waiting. He's got bread all night though. If he eats all that bread, he'll be a fat boy.